They replaced the much-hated Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and hand-picked successor and said, our next leader, who's not even been elected but is also already acting like he runs the world. We know that Donald Trump would like to have Mark Carney, a weak liberal, in charge of our country. That Mark Carney actually went to China and took a $250 million loan. Stop selling out our country to foreign interests.
Conservative candidate for Prime Minister Pierre Poilievre has accused Liberal Prime Minister Mark Carney of having foreign interests through investments in China. Asking his opponent to come clean about his finances abroad, Poilievre also said he is running to put Canadians back in charge while Carney wants to rule the world. He also said that U.S. President Donald Trump wants a Liberal PM for Canada because he will make Canada weak.
We know that Donald Trump would like to have Mark Carney, a weak liberal, in charge of our country. Because he knows, first of all, that Mark Carney will sell out our country, as he's done so often. He's a guy with, up until recently, had 3 passports, moved his corporate headquarters out of Canada to New York, only days after Trump threatened tariffs, leaving behind Canadian workers. And it was revealed today that Mark Carney actually went to China and took a $250 million loan from a state-backed Chinese bank. And he still has investments in the same company for which that loan was made, which means that the Prime Minister of our country is now beholden to a hostile foreign regime that has executed 4 Canadian citizens, taken 2 others hostage, done incursions into our Arctic waters, and has interfered in our democracy. It is time for Mark Carney to stop covering up his foreign conflicts of interest. Come clean about what you own and stop selling out our country to foreign interests. This is the globalist ideology, which seeks to shut down our resource sector and move jobs abroad, bring in big, heavy taxes on our citizens, while importing goods from countries that pollute far more. This has destroyed the working class in our country. Meanwhile, they print money, driving up the cost of housing and food, forcing our people to go to food banks, and are blocking an entire generation from ever owning a home. They replaced the much-hated Justin Trudeau with his economic advisor and hand-picked successor and said you should just forget about the last 10 years where they doubled housing costs, doubled the national debt, doubled the lineups at our food banks, doubled violent crime, and they said elect them for a 4th time. The liberal establishment has anointed our next leader, who's not even been elected, but is also already acting like he runs the world. This guy, and I don't want to run the world. I want to put you back in charge of your life. I'm not running to take power. I'm running to give it back. Thank you. That's why I'm running for office. I don't want to run your life. I want to run a decent government that lives within its means, leaves more in your pocket, lets you get ahead, does a few basic things right instead of doing a lot of things wrong, that gives people back control of their decisions. But most of all, the reason that I am in politics is to restore the Canadian promise, the promise that was made to my wife when she arrived here, that was made to me when I was born to humble means, that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything, that hard work pays off, that we can be proud Canadians, that we can fly our flag, that our people can trade with each other, that our soldiers can protect us, that our borders are secure, that we are one country, united for the Canadian people. Of course, is the father of the carbon tax, of course, is Mark Carney. Mark Carney, he was Justin Trudeau's economic advisor while Trudeau raised the tax. Now, Trudeau passed a law to quadruple the tax to 61 cents a litre. Now, they did have one disagreement, just one. Mark Carney thought that Trudeau's carbon tax was not high enough. He said the tax should go even higher, and that in order to make it less unpopular, it should be turned into a shadow carbon tax. That is to say, carefully hidden so that nobody can tell when they're paying it. You see, if you just embed it, it's a very sneaky move. And so after having this, Liberals having this tax in place for 7 years, they decided that 30 days before the election, they would hide it at the gas pumps so that Canadians would forget about it. And of course, the Liberal media tells us we're not allowed to talk about the carbon tax anymore because they want people to be tricked into voting Liberal again, after which Mr. Carney, along with his radical Liberal MPs, will raise the tax higher than ever. Now, if you doubt that for a second, keep in mind that numerous Liberal cabinet ministers have literally said the planet will burn if you don't have a carbon tax. So you want us to believe that they've suddenly changed their mind 30 days before election? Give me a break. If you believe that, I've got swampland to sell you in Florida. Expecting a Liberal to stop raising your taxes is like expecting a vampire to become a vegetarian. My friends, the last 10 years have been about the Liberals. I'm here to say that the next 10 years are going to be about you. Yeah. Income tax, the worst tax. Income tax is... I was talking about that incredible meme that I saw online the other day. There was a kid in a park with his dad, and the kid was crying, and he said to Dad, "What is an income tax form?" And the dad said to the boy, "It's just like your high school report card, except the reverse. The harder you work, the more you get punished." Income tax is the fine you pay for the crime of working hard. The more you work, the more you pay. And that's why people say they put in an extra hour, earn that extra bonus, get that extra shift, and they look at their pay stub at the end of the month, and it's one tax after another. It's not worth it to work more. That's why I've announced that a Canada First Conservative government will cut income taxes by 15% to make work pay. Thank you. Lower income tax. Anybody over there want an income tax cut? Anybody out there think that you should get more of your paycheck and that the government should get less? Yes, and that's what's going to happen. An income tax cut will mean our workers and families have the ability to spend more in local businesses, which will create yet more jobs for workers who will pay even lower taxes. These tax cuts will apply to every single person who pays income tax. It is a tax cut for retired seniors who are on a fixed income. Are we any of those here today? Lots of them. It is an income tax cut for the waitress who is struggling to feed her children but works hard every day to get that extra tip. She'll be keeping more of the tip, and more of that will go into nutritious food for her wonderful kids. It's an income tax cut for the steel worker at Stelco, DeFasco. And it doesn't stop there. Not only do we want you to bring home more of your paycheck, you need a home to bring it to, right? So we've got to build the homes. Right now, the biggest part of the cost of any new home in Ontario is taxes. Nationwide, it's the same story. 30% goes to taxes. Another 20 to 30% goes to bureaucratic delays, the time it takes to get a permit, the rezoning, the lawyers, the accountants, the lobbyists, the bureaucracy, the side fees. In fact, more money from a new home today goes to bureaucrats in office buildings than goes to the carpenters, electricians, and plumbers who actually build the homes. And to add insult to injury, those carpenters can't even afford to live and buy the homes that they built.